everyone, meteorologist Rachel Kay here for Data Week, and of course I have to talk at least a little bit about weather data. Now, a lot of you have probably heard about the weather models that we use to forecast and often show on air, but what about current data and where do weather models get their information? We actually do what we call weather balloon launches. This happens twice a day all across the country from National Weather Service offices. They're massive balloons that we fill with helium and then launch up into the upper atmosphere. And attached to those weather balloons is what we call a radiosonde. It's basically a white box that has a battery and a transmitter, and it sends us back data on temperature, on pressure, on humidity, and also on its location, which we use to help calculate the wind speed. So we're really getting a full vertical snapshot, if you will, of the atmosphere. Now, I was very lucky in graduate school at Mississippi State University. I helped to launch weather balloons with a graduate team. Not every weather service has their own launch pad, so we were doing them kind of on the road for the National Weather Service office in Memphis. So we would launch these weather balloons on different locations depending on where the storms were expected, from rural Mississippi, rural Tennessee, rural Arkansas. We would usually just kind of pull over. We wore vests to make sure that we were safe. And you'll notice in some of my pictures from grad school here, we also wore gloves. No oils from your hand can get on the balloon, or it actually might pop early because the balloon is expanding and of course entering well below freezing temperatures. But we launched rain or shine, really unless there's thunder, and that's kind of the National Weather Service policy. They have buildings where they blow their balloons up indoors before kind of bringing them out to launch. Sometimes you have to launch the balloons in very windy conditions. We actually did once lose the radiosonde that was attached because it wasn't held on tight enough. And oftentimes we were concerned about the balloon clearing a nearby building before it really took off vertically into the atmosphere if those horizontal winds at the surface were just too strong. So it was kind of fun. It was always an adventure, but if you lost a balloon, you had to try again because this data is just so important. This is what we use to really make forecasts possible. In fact, without weather balloon data being input into our weather models, it would be almost impossible to make an accurate forecast more than a few hours out. So now you know a little bit more about where weather data comes from.